So one thing to notice, remember I said you can do this as a how do you train other people if you don't know what you're talking about. Notice that I didn't really do anything the first hour. I'm going to continue to not do stuff for the second hour. Mainly what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell other people to do stuff. Right? And because I don't need to know how to do it, I don't need to have knowledge myself. You'll notice I tell people to tell me what happened. And notice I'll tell people to do stuff, like not what to do, but just literally do it. Solve this problem. I will ask a lot of questions like, how could we test that? But I don't actually have to know anything. It makes it a lot easier to teach. Especially, can you just move the mouse?
So, is it about how to be a manager in the software world?
So like I said, 3 different ways to observe the... Did you lock?
Small string.
Password is.
Did you try approvals for the password?
Small string.
Oh, he's got to change it.
I was just getting the Dr. back.
Fat finger the keyboard with his.
Did you shut down?
Video's still good.
All the overhead of managing
Okay. I think we're back.
So,
Alright, so yeah. So notice that I don't have to do it. There's a story that I heard that I really like. This applies actually, ironically, both to unit testing and to facilitating. So when you do a unit test, you write from the point of view that the program already exists. Makes it a lot easier to write your test. When you facilitate, it works the same way. But the story that I heard that I always remember is there was an interview at the Army they were going to promote. And so the people come in and they do the interview. And the first interview is, all right, in the middle there's a flagpole needs the input. Tell us how we get the flagpole out. And the guy explains like how you dig the hole, and how you put the concrete in, how you raise the pole. And they're like, okay, good. And they bring in the second candidate, and they say, okay, how do you get the flagpole up? And he's like, Sergeant, put up the flagpole. He's the one who gets the job. Right? Like, you just need to know how to sort of tell other people. You don't actually have to know what it is you're telling them to do. So, anytime you're doing a Koan facilitation, in fact, a lot of facilitation in general is that manner. You don't have to understand the details of what you're facilitating. You just have to encourage other people to do stuff. All right, and to that point, Jim, stand up. Tell us, introduce yourself again. Tell us about where you work.
I'm Jim, and I work at Bridgepoint Education.
And do the next problem.
We help write PHP approval tests.
PHP approval test. That
was a fun day. Yeah. So, okay. So should we go through the instructions again, or should we?
Just go to the next one.
The next one. Okay. Go down to the next non-edited test. Okay. So, well, let's type the method name uses method name.
This right here?
You don't want to run the test?
Oh yeah, run the test. Why not?
You hit function as well.
Oh, okay, because he has.
Because I turn off my function button because I really appreciate my F keys.
and now,
Okay, so as a wild guess, let's put in uses method name right there. Let's try running that.
All right. So, what do these 2 lines of code do?
Do I say?
Yeah.
Okay. So it creates the namer, that the factory creates the namer, the namer gets the approval name, what it's expecting it to be, and it comes out with, I assume it comes out with that underscore thing. But it really should be, it's really looking for getting started uses method name. So that's what it needs to find as the function name.
What's the difference between this and that?
No difference.
No difference. So how were the Cohens different?
Well, the arguments in assert equal are reversed.
The arguments are research. Okay, that's true.
The expected and the actual
Expected in the actual.
are.
There's something else to point out. Why was the blank in that location? The difference between these two are not the end result, it was the beginning result. So again, if you're experiencing this on a how do I write my own Cohens, the way you do it is create an example, and then that blank is like a flashlight. It's where you want people to look. Right? So if you look here, there's times that we looked here, there's times that we looked over here, there's times that we looked here.
We could have also made it fast by changing the quoted string.
By not changing the blank, yes. But that is bad. All right, give me your observations.
They all the line break because of the all caps.
Let's click. What do you need me for? All right. All right, so let's start with, not sure if the underscores were auto-generated or not. They're not. They are purposely put in by the creator of the Koan, which in this case is me. But this technique is standard for Cohens. You can also have underscores for a method name. You can have method underscores for a remarkably large amount of things that you should not in general do. I've used them for package names, for annotations, for method names, for variables. It's shocking what you can use an underscore for.
That's right.
What exceptions are there?
The test method throws exceptions.
This is a question. They all say they throws exception.
What if you take the throws exception off? What happens?
They don't all say that.
46 didn't say.
This is
you're
the
right.
first one.
Let's take it off. Let's see what happens. Nothing.
Why'd you put it there?
I think it's auto-generated, but
Yeah.
It's not an underscore, so maybe it is.
so I have to say, like, checked exceptions are universally like a failure of Java. One of the things that's interesting as you go from language to language is that almost any feature in any language you can find in some other language. No other languages have checked exceptions. Like, that is a very strong statement about checked exceptions. Because you can choose any other feature that you really don't like, and there's some other language that has it. Throws exception. Duplicate test. The very same in the end. Seen pattern enough to predict. Good. That'll make the next one easier. Could have changed the assertion. It would make it pass. But it teaches a different thing. The blank location changed. The user learns the convention. Did not read the failure text. Nice. throws exception, and tests unnecessarily throws exception. Nice. All right, rotate. Assume everyone knows where you work, Paul. What does your work do?
So I'm Paul Weber, I work at ResMed. We are the healthcare informatics, reading of CPAP machines, you take home and sleep with, generate data. We display that data for the medical equipment people or the physician to sleep better at night. It's changing lives with every breath.
All right, make the next one pass.
I'm gonna tell the branding people that you said that, it's just gonna make their day.
Okay. Please run the next test.
The control function F11?
It's the real control button.
Control F11. So let's read this one. It says prover name or namer, prover create prover name. Class name is blind. Method name is file name is class name plus dot method name, and then we're gonna assert that that's not a good assert either. Assert equals name will give approval. So namer, get approval, approval name is gonna be our class name plus method name. So what is our class name? Our class name is file name. No, class name is up above. Getting starts the class name?
You could go this dot get class dot get symbol name.
Hey. That sounds cool. What was that again?
This dot get get class dot get symbol name. Get name will give you it with the package. Get symbol name
Please
will just
rerun that.
give you the class name.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
So you've already gone through what the code did. You started in that way. So just give me observations.
And,
Got one in my hand.
Anywhere?
There's one here.
Right.
Assert gives a warning. Good. Anyone know why the assert is giving us a warning?
Statically imported.
Yeah, they want it to be statically imported. Or it is being statically imported. I mean, we could actually take out the assert doc. Try it out.
You could also take out the throws exception.
Probably for this one. Yes. Yeah, I think so. It is deprecated. It is deprecated. It is deprecated. Why is it deprecated?
See how effective of a UI highlighting, that UI highlighting is? Draws your attention.
Test name sucks. Why is this test called file names?
no idea. It seems arbitrary.
What is the test about?
Reading the file.
No.
It's figuring out what the namer dot to get approval name is gonna return.
Yeah, it's figuring out what the file name is going to be from the approval namer. Repeat it again. Use is deprecated. Warnings in code are annoying. Totally agree with that. Assert is deprecated. Assert is sorry, totally different thing. Assert equals is yellow and underlined.
Wow.
And someone is being subversive. I'll leave their name out. Did you guys rotate already?
Not
No,
yet.
rotate.
I work at Extra Bucks.
At where?
Extra Bucks, it's like a
Oh,
consumer
it's
cashback
Is it PV?
shopping website in Pacific Beach. And we were acquired by eBay, so I guess I work for them now.
By eBay?
Do you have extra
eBay.
business?
Oh, eBay.
Oh.
Okay.
Ebates, yeah. If I slur it a bit, it sounds more.
All right, make it pass.
Okay, let's run it first. I want to see if it fails. Please click on. All right, so we have a rectangle with a different height than expected, and let's see the other dimensions. They look the same. I think they were all the same except for the height. Yeah, which is what the diff is telling us. Okay, so let's start with a correctly sized rectangle. Do you remember what that number was?
Copy paste there.
All right,
I'm
so
focused.
let's probably make it pass now. And it passes.
Nice.
Let's see.
So tell us what it does. What does the code do?
So it creates a rectangle with these dimensions, and then it creates an approval namer and verifies that so the approval namer is going to name it after the class dot method name. So there must be a file on disk called getting started dot verified bigger text dot text that contains whatever the java.awt.rectangles toString method returns.
How would you test that as theory?
I would look on the drive
All right.
and see if we have that file. So if you go to Package Explorer,
Go to
probably
Navigator.
see it.
You'll be happier.
Or Navigator, sure. And probably in the root of this project, you might find that file.
Should
be right there
in lesson
So,
one.
yeah,
It's in the same package.
Oh, right. Okay. So, I don't know.
It's
It's
big
right
action
next to
chapter.
Yeah, that one. That one. Yeah, there we go. That must be what the toString method returns for that AWT rectangle.
Just double click the tab. All right. Observations.
We're not. We're verifying this thing also.
From last time?
Yeah.
Okay. This is from last time. The method name was hard coded.
Yeah, I was gonna write, is there a way to, a function that you can call to get the method name as a string, so you don't have to hard code it?
Yeah, stack trace, new exception, like it's stack trace.
Well, obviously there must be something because Namer's doing it.
Yeah.
One time I got that knocked out in a code review, like, what the crap, you can't do this. And then so I just put in a method that said get method name.
Name?
And they were like, oh, that seems reasonable.
Alright, what do we got?
Yeah, it's been about almost
All right. Badly named test. What is the name of the test? Verify bigger text. What are we doing in this test?
Rectangle.
We're verifying the text of the rectangle. Asserts are becoming more obscure. Ah, interesting.
That's foreshadowing.
So, obscure means what? Hard to see.
Not clear.
Unclear. Confusing. This was a confusing test. Where is the bigger text? Where is the bigger text?
Where's the text?
Oh, it's 2 characters longer.
Rectangle has a useful two-string method. That is very true.
And very important.
Very important. It was an easy fix. By the way, this easy fix, this is a concept in testing called granularity. There's 4 things that testing gives you. The last is granularity. What granularity is after your tests work, when they break, giving you very clear information as to why. Notice it was very easy to figure out what was wrong with that text. Obvious solution. The two-string is handy, so handy. Pasting beats remembering. Misleading method name. All right, rotate.
Dangerous
Oh
button.
yeah, you probably want to close that.
I'm still Vahid.
And
Too much
tell us the
machine.
technologies you work on.
Some technologies. I work with Groovy and Grails.
Nice.
It's a really fun language if you like things other than Java as well. Like Python and Ruby smashed together with Java.
It runs on the JVM.
It runs on a JVM.
All right, next one.
Cool. Let's run it. And yep. This is an approved file. Cool. So what is it doing? Approvals not verified. Oh, is that what we?
Can do it
I think
again.
there should be a file.
Memorize,
Should put that at the top.
So there should be a file named approvals uses this file name convention. Getting started up.
See if that's true.
What was the comment? There should be a file named getting started up.
Did you want to browse the Explorer or?
Was that?
It was a
Yeah, that's what I was
navigator.
thinking.
I wasn't commenting, you were commenting.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was saying I believe there's probably a file named getting started approvals uses this file name convention. Can we look for it in the navigator?
So go to the navigator and find that file.
Yeah,
There's
it's
some
the
less
second
than
one.
Okay, sorry. Oh, it's not approved.
File name dot approved dot text. Okay.
Okay. You're still driving, right?
Yeah, I mean, try putting that in. Maybe it's just verifying that we do have an approval for this.
Well, do you want to open that file and see what's in there?
Yeah.
This one here.
And you don't think it's maybe you just verifying that we have an approval called this ID? Maybe so like this whole file name that you're typing in. Let's try that initially.
I think it's verifying the
I think
content.
the problem was just that we had that text last time.
I think it's verifying the content. So I think if you put the contents in again, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's supposed to that.
Last time we had that text on the end of that.
So what just happened?
You got a new test up,
I
you
ran,
closed it.
I ran all the tests.
Ran everything. You can see it over on the side.
So, I pressed Control F button.
All right, there we go.
Alright, so only one line of code here. What does it do?
Well, it checks that this approved file, which is called approvals, uses this file name convention stuff, family.approved.txt, contains those contents in it.
Nice.
Probably encapsulates encapsulate the code we've seen before, meaning taking the class name, method name,
Yeah.
checking a file and read content and then verifying against the string.
Encapsulates the two lines we see on 72, 73. Observations. Write them up.
I'm good. I'm not getting the library too well yet. Short one.
Bring up the
Thank you. Alright. Should read the test and comment before testing. Appends approved.txt to the name. Lots of stickies on the wall. You're tracking your code changes with Tortoise SVN. Good code habit. I'm actually not tracking them with Tortoise SVN. But I do like Tortoise SVN if I'm using the subversion. Verify function not very descriptive or needs comments. The verify function. So what we're seeing there was the verify. Say what? Oh.
I
Maybe
have
close
three. I wanted to see what it was.
Test methods don't begin with test. Ah, that's true.
We have the app.
But we have the annotation.
Because of the annotation. And this is a big difference between 3 and 4. Because in 3 it was convention of the name, so everything had to begin with test. And in 4 it's that @sign test. Although I will say, personally, I still like when my test names start with test. But maybe I'm a creature of habit. Encapsulation confused us briefly. I totally want to talk about that. I'll come back to that in a second. Hint would have been more useful earlier. That's true. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about that encapsulation confuses. So, this is an insight from a guy named Apollo Robbins, who's a very good observer of human behavior. He does his observations in the form of pickpocketing. Here's what Apollo, by the way, awesome TED Talk if you want to check it out. What Apollo noticed is that if I have an object in my hand and I grab it and move it away, your eyes will automatically snap back to the origin. That's just human nature. Take it, grab it, move in a straight line, eyes are going to see both sides. But if you have an object, you take it and you move it in a curve, they don't do that. If you move in a curve, your eyes track the moving object. They don't snap back to the origin. This is very useful when you're a pickpocket. You do not want people to see what is occurring back at the old place. But when you're teaching, this is devastating. Because teaching is all about snapping back. When you teach, you move from the place that people are to the new place. And the way that forms a synapse in the brain, really simple. Like, brain is a complicated thing in general, but building synapses is easy. What fires together, wires together. So when you move, what has to happen is the eyes have to snap back. Your brain has to go and say, what is that path? What is the path? And as your brain snaps between those two things, that's where that bond forms in your brain. That's where the new pathways come about. Your brain is snapping back and forth. Hey, it went from here. It's why when you see things you like, you repeat them over and over and over in your head. Songs are particularly good at exploiting this feature in us, but it happens in everything. When you see a movie, the part that you thought about, you'll play it again in your head. When something important happened, you'll play it again in your head. That playing again in your head, that looking back and forth, that strengthens that connection. If you take them on a curve, they will follow you. But when they go home, they will not remember a single thing. You'll see this happen a lot, where it's like, it made so much sense when the salesman was saying it, but I don't remember how. All right, next one, rotate. Where are we, Jim?
Oh, where are we?
Coach.
Beyond introduction. Okay, so we're on that one. Seeing files side by side. Approval gets the namer. Namer gets the approval name. Verify. So approval name. So that's gonna add that. That's probably gonna add that dot approval to the name. So yeah, let's run the test and let's see what it's looking for, because it's just comparing the contents of the.
This new diff tool is really cool.
That was why I thought you were using Tortoise.
Yes. So we are using Tortoise diff, which is part of Tortoise SVN.
Okay, so it received, so the test generated that fill in the blank stuff, getting started at 16 files side by side. And it's expecting this file is called. So bad, so bad. No.
We're reading files. This is why we don't like checked exceptions, right?
This is why we hate checked exceptions.
We're gonna be great friends, you and
This is actually just a
It's an
total
IO
rant about
exception.
Java.
You probably
But of
can't-
all the things Java could fix very easily, is Java already has unchecked exceptions. They could remove it. You can declare unchecked exceptions as well. They could remove checked exceptions and nothing would break. There's nothing, no reason that feature is still in Java other than momentum. That'd be a very easy thing for Java to fix. Yeah, Groovy doesn't have them. No other language has them.
Well, they have like a class hierarchy
No
around.
other language has checked exceptions. They have the class, they have the same class hierarchy. Groovy runs on the same JVM as Java. Same class hierarchy. All right, observations.
Or what's happening here?
Oh yeah, what's happening here?
I guess you kind of explained that.
Well, okay, so 89, what's happening on line 80 or 87?
I think there's a Falco
Creates an approval name.
Good, and then what does it do on line 88?
Compares the contents of that, make that class, it gets the class, or the file name, it gets from namer,
Yeah,
with that string.
good.
This is kind of reflective in that sense.
All right, observations. No, there's
Is that a flashlight?
no, not even a little bit. All right. Got a couple more.
did not need that image in my brain.
I didn't bother noticing that a different diff reporter would be used. What does that mean?
That means I was like looking at, I was focusing on the meat of the method, and I didn't realize that you had added that diff reporter thing, and that it would look differently when you ran it.
This unit 2 shows how unchecked exception can confuse us. So agree with that. Audience has forgotten about comment formatting.
You seem pretty excited about it earlier on.
Annotation we haven't seen before. Humans can approve text. What is the diff reporter class? What is the diff reporter class? Control click into that. The diff reporter is a chain of responsibility reporter that looks first in the Windows diff reporters, then the Mac's diff reporters, then JUnit, and then the quiet reporter. What is the Windows diff reporters? Let's start there. Windows diff reporter is the chain of responsibility class that looks in the tortoise diff reporter, the beyond compare reporter, the win merge reporter. What is the tortoise diff reporter class? Tortoise diff reporter is a chain of responsibility reporter that looks in the tortoise diff reporter and the tortoise image reporter. What is the tortoise text reporter? This is the first thing you have actual code. There's a lot of chain of responsibility going in there. We'll get into that later. You can close all that down. Llewellyn hates checked exceptions. So true. Use reporter. I thought that was a comment for a second. We have a new annotation here. Use reporter is interesting. Different line endings, ignored. Yeah, it doesn't actually ignore line endings. I'm not entirely sure why that came out. Introduce the use reporter. All right, rotate.
You get next text, please. Dum dum dum. Has anybody seen that movie?
No,
Dum dum dum.
That's every movie.
Okay, test. Changing the gold master, please.
Golden.
No, or are we looking at scene 5? No, yeah, that's right. The golden master, please. To approve, move Y to blah. Keep scrolling to that. Okay, we want to find changing the golden master in that area and move it. Going to the far right. To do that, please see users. Lesson 01. Okay.
I thought I was trying to the top, so we were supposed to change the underscores.
You're only supposed to change the underscore. That's
So you should take the string from here and put it in the
Ah!
What's the error message?
Yeah, what's the
double-click
failure
the
message?
Take the string
Underscore,
from the
yeah.
class and put it in the file. Right?
Okay, that's easy. Copy.
Oh, no.
No.
Underscore.
You're only allowed to change the underscore.
Oh, then we have to go to the
Yeah, so you need to copy this is the golden master and update the file, right?
Yeah, you got it. So copy this as the golden master, you were correct. But we have to go to find the file, and paste that into the file where the underscore is.
Yes.
Control C.
Control C.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Press the OK button. Now go to the navigator. No, not that navigator.
Package Explorer.
Top now, there we go. Okay, what was the file name, anybody?
The third one.
Third one down
Right
there,
above the
above the highlighter there. Double click your navigator now.
You full screened your navigator tab. You just want to double click that.
Stop clicking again.
Oh, there we go. So is it on the right? Fine.
What did you do with the
Go
navigator?
to the
Hit Control 3. Control 3 is a shortcut. When you don't know the shortcuts, type NAV. There it is, navigator. Double click that. There it is.
Go to the far right, tab. Yeah. Up, left, down, left. There, you got it, right there, right there. Yay! Ah, close that window.
You know,
Okay, back to the navigator.
You can do Control Shift R, right?
Go up, about
that's
5 or 6 where the highlight.
the file is
Scroll
just
one more
one
up,
unit, one thing up.
above the highlighted unit. There we go.
Just do Control Shift R, star, whatever.
Control Shift R star.
That's the finder.
Finds resources.
Finds resources as opposed to types. Nice.
We made it.
All right, rotate. I'm going to skip observations for this one because I want to do 2 more things and we're running to the end of time. So first,
And you can do-
take us home on the last Koan in this class.
This is it?
And rectangles. Alright, I
Might
can see
not
where
be.
this is going. Please run the test. Okay, click on that. Alright, so we're expected
X is 150.
We now 0, close that. Let's put 150 into the blank, try to run it. And it passes.
So the only thing I want to point out here is, notice we're now down to 1 line for verify. Right? If you were to do this with a regular assert, how many asserts would this be?
Before.
It'd be 4.
What is
It throws an exception as soon as you use approvals, yeah. Because we're doing file IO. Scroll down.
You could do it with one,
I mean, yeah, you can do a 2-string with an assert.
Yeah.
You could do a 2-string with a long assert.
Right.
Yeah.
Which-
But most likely you would do the 4 things, 4 asserts.
Normally, yeah.
or you could do one assert on a rectangle.
And reproduce still, but still 5 lines of code.
Yeah.
You can give that one a run. We're not going to solve this one, but just double click it to see how it compares. Again, just notice, you can start doing richer objects. Asserts are effectively for primitives, right? They work really good against small ints, doubles, small strings. As soon as you want to start verifying larger objects, they start to become burdensome. Let's take a look at some more bigger objects. Don't worry about fixing them. Just go to Navigator, go into lesson 2, collections, Java. Scroll down a little bit. Keep going. Let's do that one, the shows when something's been removed. Give that a run. So here I'm verifying an entire hash map. Double click it. Look that it shows not just that number 3 is wrong, but hey, I have more than I expected. Right? That's something, I got something extra in my actual. Close this. Scroll down to the next one. Run that one. This is showing the reverse. I'm missing something. My expected should have had the rung. Let's close this. Let's go over to the navigator. Oh, go to the navigator. Actually, wait, so go back here to transforming arrays manually. So, this is a test that is going to, give it a show. This is testing for cases 1, 3, 5, 10, 12, and 16. Let's go back to where we were. And notice, to test those 6 cases, I'm just making an array. Starts to allow you to do multiple cases with a lot more ease. Go back to my navigator. Let's go down to lesson 4, using reporters. Scroll down. A little bit more down. Do that one, using image for insight. So in this one, the blank is to figure out what the old color was. What was the old color? The old color was blue. Let's put it in and see if that works. Close that. Yeah. And where the blank is? Blue.
Color blue or text?
Text blue. Let's give it a run and see if you got it right. So I just want to point out, those are things that are very hard to do within a cert. You can learn about them all by grabbing the Cohens and completing where we are. We've only gone through the first of 4. One other thing I want to point out for those of us who are here just for the Java, go to the navigator and click on tests and Cohens test. Now, this product is the Cohens, which are unit tests to help you learn. Yet there's still things that are important, so I need to test. In this case, I need to test my tests. Give that a run right now. It should fail. Because, let's look at the error. You guys have to hover over it for this one. Normal asserts is already passing. If I released this to production, I would have released puzzles that have already been solved. What?
He's all red passing.
Is already passing. Should not be passing.
Should not be bad.
It
Right.
doesn't- It doesn't say already.
Because when I
It's a
release
training
this product,
material.
I think it's like the gorilla.
what?
Yeah, the Y is missing off of the word already.
Oh, that's totally possible.
This
I
is
can't spell.
training material, it should not pass.
Is all red.
Until-
Go ahead. That's all.
But in here, notice I have a single line on line 14. Assert the Koan. I'm looking at the normal JUnits thing. Here's the answer. That assert Koan first test that the test fails, and then test that that answer solves. Right? So again, one line of test to do it. I'm not using an approval to do this. I'm just using good refactoring of my duplication on my test. But if you're interested in testing, pay attention to that, because testing tests is something that's not done very often. So it holds some interesting insights in there. Let's go to just Chrome in general and talk about Cohens for a second. So there are lots of Cohens. The first were made by Ruby. If you do a search for Ruby Cohens, by edge case. And you can actually click right there on the first one. I think that one's in the browser. Right, so if you scroll down, or Ruby Cohens online, and the big red button. You can actually do these, scroll down a little bit. Yeah, or hit start Cohens. Yeah. But you can do them right there, right? And you can actually type in, so here we have assert false, true, type in 2, hit enter, and hey. So these are all little examples that work, or run. Little examples that run but don't pass. And when you get the right answer, they will run and they will pass. That is the basics of code, right? Lots of little examples, little challenges for you to do. It works almost the same as a video game. Lots of little levels that in doing the level, you learn stuff about how to play the game. Here in getting the test to pass, you learn about the language. With approval tests, you learn about how to do the API. There are tests, or there are Cohens for almost everything. Almost any language you can think of, Cohens for SQL, Cohens for regex, Cohens for lambdas, Cohens for almost anything. Do a search for them, see if they're out there. If there's something your team wants to learn, and there's a Koan, you don't need to know about it to teach your team. Does that make sense? And if you have stuff of your own that you're creating and you want to help people learn it, Cohens are a great way to help them learn. Nothing else, they're examples that work. How often have you been on code, like Stack, grab the code off Stack, put it in your own editor to run it and have it not compile. Koans are examples that work. All right. I think that's the end for today.
Are there codes about codes?
Are there Koans about Koans? There are not
How am I
Koans
gonna
about
learn
Koans.
how to write codes for the thing I wanna teach?
So to write the Koan, though, it is rather simple. You write the example that works, and then you choose where you want the people to look and put the blank. After that, the only thing that's important is put little levels, try to keep it interesting. Even the interesting is debatable. Little levels is good, though. When I first came upon Cohens, it was the Ruby Cohens. God, it was 4 years ago now. I came across a room of programmers, maybe about 20, 25, paired up, learning Ruby at an astonishingly fast rate, without a single person in the room who knew Ruby. From teaching, that was astonishing to me. Teaching, like people will tell you, the most important part about teaching is the teacher. There was no teacher here, which is an amazing thing. It's good for you guys when you want to learn. It's good if you want other people to learn. Learning without teachers. All right. I think that's everything. Oh, let me show you one thing. So remember I said that we do free courseware for kids to learn Java? So, I have that on here. So, we go to GitHub. Teaching kids programming. Java. You can download the zip that way. Give us 1 second here. Oh, well, while we're waiting for that. Yeah. You can also go to the website and see what that's about. Teaching kids.
The bottom file?
There we are. Thank you. That's a zip file. There we are. So we use Eclipse to teach. We don't change the program, but we do obviously customize the layout, just make it a little easier for kids. And here we are at the end. There are these things called deep dives, which you will notice are strikingly like the Cohens. And this allows us, and you see, we're starting very simple here because this is the very first one. This would be about an hour and a half into the kids' first experience with programming ever. We teach 10 and up. But quickly, we're moving to combining text in a loop, changing where that loop ends, changing where it starts, changing how it increments, and then having it increment negative, going down. We even show the danger of semicolons. All without the need for a teacher. Right? Works with children, works with adults. Anyhow, that's Cohens. And that's everything. You guys have been absolutely great. Thank you very much. And
Okay, if we could get the lights on, we'll wrap up this evening's interesting presentation by Llewellyn with the drawing of the books.